guys, what's up? I know I've been kind of MIA lately. I've been very depressed, as a lot of us have been. So I just took a break, tried to figure out what I want to do with this channel, and I think I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants, and make videos that I want to make and post them pretty much whenever I want so that I am not stressed because I'm about to start school. When you're watching this, I have already started school. And it's my last semester, or my last year, and I'm not trying to be stressed even more. And this is also supposed to be super fun, so yeah, that's why I'm filming on my phone. You can probably tell the difference between my other videos. So, today, after that long intro, today we are going to be talking about some children's books that I have read. I decided that I wanted to read popular children's books now and kind of compare them to what I read when I was a child. I was born at the late end of the 90s, and so I was mostly reading Dr. Seuss books. When I got a little bit older, I started reading Junie B. Jones, and so yeah, I read a lot of books about animals, like the Bernstein, Stain, whatever their names are, bears, and the Going on a Bear Hunt. So yeah, I read a lot of books about animals, some about people, most of them about like parents loving their children and stuff, which is still very relevant in a lot of these books, but they're just more diverse. I just went to my Libby app and I literally just chose the children's book section, and these were some of the most popular ones. The first book I read, which was a book that was on my TBR, and it is Sully, and I believe it's by Lupita Nyong'o, and most of these I don't know who they're by, but I'll have the picture up here so you'll be able to see who it's by, the cover, and be able to buy them for your children, because most of these I do recommend. There's one that I don't, but the rest of them are amazing. So the first one is Sully, and it seems like a very necessary book just because it fills the gap that I didn't have when I was a kid. I noticed that a lot of books when I was a kid were not really diverse. There was a lot of white kids. The few Asian kids that showed up on the pages, but for the most part, it was mostly white. And at the time, obviously, when I was a kid, I didn't think anything of it. But now that I see it, I have a little cousin, and he's adopted, and he's black, and I'm trying to, whenever he gets older, because right now all he reads is board books, and board books are mostly animals anyway. But whenever he gets older, I'm trying to show him books that have representation of him, because it's really sad. It's very sad. You don't get to see yourself in the pages. So Sully is about a girl. She is very unconfident in herself because she has a deeper skin tone than her sister or her mother and father. And she feels kind of left out. She wants to be lighter because kids start making fun of her because of how dark she is. Her mother tries to tell her that she is just as beautiful and that she is valued in this world no matter what skin tone, how deep it is, and it's just a very, very good book, and I think it's very beautiful. The drawing is gorgeous. I think 2 or 3 of these books that I read had art by Vashti Harrison. I believe that's her name. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's her name because I follow her on Instagram. But her artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Now on to number 2. This is the one I was not a huge fan of. It is Inky the Octopus. This book seems like it's a book that I would have read when I was a child. It's got the animals escaping from a cage. Like, it was just weird. It didn't have like a complete ending. I don't know if there's another one. Apparently it's based on a true story, but it was just very boring. And again, it's like something that I would have read when I was a child. The reason I picked up this one was because the rest of the books that I read, they were all like based on children. And when I was little, I read a lot of books about animals. So I wanted to try and incorporate that, and this book was one of the top ones. But I don't think it's good. I don't think I'd let my children read it just because yeah, it's a cute book, I guess, but there's nothing to it. It's very boring. I'm not going to make my kids read a boring book. So, yeah. Um I don't have much thoughts. It was just very similar to everything that I've read, and the ending was very dissatisfying. Down to the third book that I read. I read Alma and How She Got Her Name. This is one of my favorites that I read. I really, really enjoyed this. Um, so it's an interesting concept. I wouldn't have thought about it, but it's about heritage and knowing where you've come from and being able to create a new story with your name. So basically, this little girl, she's like, why is my name Alma? And she has a very long name, and she wants to know why she has all of these people's names in her own name. Alma is her own name. That is a name that no one else in the family had, and the rest of the ones that came after are names based on people that have been in her family. And so her father tells her the stories of all of these people that have been in their family, all these wonderful people that have meant so much and have created their own stories for their name. And so it's basically her just figuring out that she is able to come up with a name that means something to the family. And it's just so good. I could not believe how much I loved it, because children books, yeah, they're good. Like, I like them, but this book, oh my gosh, it was just so wonderful. I don't know. I just thought it was very cool. It's something that I wouldn't think of to make a children's book, but it's very well written, very well understood, and again, the graphics are great. I'm not sure who did these graphics, but they're wonderful. The fourth book I read was Hair Love, and this is a book that I've heard a lot about, and I think they made a short or a movie, I'm not sure. So that's where I first heard of it, and then I was like, oh, it's a book. And so I picked it up, and oh, it fills a need that was very necessary in children's books. It is a book about a black little girl that is learning to love her hair. She can't stand it. It's not like the other girls. It's hard to deal with, but the dad in this book is trying to make her love her hair because it's a superpower. And it's so good. This is a book that needed to be written because there is a gap of talking about loving yourself as a black girl. And as a white woman, I will not know that. I don't know that experience. But I do know that a lot of black girls hate their hair because it's not straight, it's not like the other girls. And I think this also fills the need of the lack of representation within media in general, where black hair is not considered beautiful. Black skin is not considered beautiful. So I think this fills the need very, very, very well. And again, the graphics are wonderful. The little girl is so adorable, and how she empowers herself. And finally, the fifth book I read was Anti-Racist Baby. I don't know how to say their name, but they've written Stamped. This is an interesting book. I believe it's a children's book, but I also believe that it could be a parenting book. It's a book not only telling kids how to be anti-racist, but it's also teaching parents how to teach their kids to be actively anti-racist. And it's very interesting. I really enjoyed it. It did give me a lot of tips for when I do become a parent of how to raise my child to be actively anti-racist. But I'm really glad this book exists because you don't see very many children's books that is a children's book for a child to enjoy and to learn from, but also something a parent can enjoy and learn from. And I really like that dynamic of a book. And this book 100% would not exist when I was born, or when I was a kid. Um, no one really talked about racism, and if it did, it was usually them being racist. So I really am glad that this book exists. I'm happy that 4 of these books exist. I think it filled the need for children growing up in today's world. Overall, I really enjoyed this experience of trying to figure out what is the children's genre like now. And although a lot of it is the same, I did choose books that were currently popular, which is really good. I assume that most of these are very popular just because of the current political climate. But at least people are reading them, sharing them with their kids. So that is all I have. Comment down below if you want me to do more of these, like, reading genres or something. I am doing a middle grade one. So that one's going pretty good. It's going all right. And so, yeah, if you want me to do any other genres, any other, like, types of books, I mean, I guess that's genres, but, or like read 4 books by an author or something, I don't know. You can just comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.